Great. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mornings with Manny. It's me, Manny Garavito, and I do this every Monday at 10:30 a.m., or at least I try to do it at 10:30 a.m. Today, I had a really good exercise. I had a good run, jumped out of the shower, and I made sure that I got on the live stream looking fresh. Brand new white tee, fresh off the laundry. And yeah, man, we're ready to start another week. Are you guys ready for another week? I'm not. No, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. Um, let me go ahead and just start this presentation I have for you guys. Look at that. Bam. So I'm so happy that the internet is really allowing us to do this kind of uh, quality for people like myself in a garage with a green screen and these designs. Like, look at that face. It's so crisp and it's got my name. It's got the logo. I look like an angel. Oh man, the future is looking bright. Don't listen to the media. The future is bright as hell. Look at all this cool stuff we can do. All right, so today I want to talk to you guys about first of all that we had an amazing I wouldn't say show, but I'd say get together yesterday where let me make sure I got this presentation thing going. Let me see. No, there we go. That's one of the best things about going live. Everything just doesn't work out right. There we go. All right. So yesterday we had Meet the Makers of Miami. A big thank you to everybody that joined us for this event. It was a lot of fun. I got a lot more closer than I did the first time with the attendees there because this one got a little bit deep. And to be honest, I think that's what's needed in order for us to kind of come together a little bit. But it was deep in a good way. We did this thing where, let me give you a debrief. So it started off with my friend Anand Rao, which is a coach over in the UK. And he started talking about spiral dynamics. And it's about social consciousness, like people, when they come together and you look at the history throughout all the cases of human history and, all these kinds of different consciousness arise from, security to safety to who has the power to laws to who is following the rules to people trying to listen in on each other, wars, and it just became this great presentation by my friend Anand. And then after his presentation, we got together and we started looking at the filters that people have in their minds, like your memories, how you distort things you see, how you delete the things you experience, all those kinds of filters, the memories you have. And we did a presentation where we started pulling up photos of, art pieces, music, quotes, and we started, as a group, we started saying, okay, when I see this, I see, this particular thing, or this person's facial expression looks like this, and someone else in the group would be like, no, that person's facial expression looks like that. Well, what do you think of the smell of gasoline? It's like, oh, I hate it. It's like, oh, when I was a kid, I loved it. And so as a group, we started seeing how different perspectives were happening, like off the cuff, and we were having really great conversations. And I look forward to doing this event again. I don't have a set date yet. Most of the times when I come up with these events, it's on a whim. I see an opening, I see an opportunity, I get a great presenter for you to do a group presentation. And so just stay tuned. Okay, so make sure you visit miaminetworking.com to get the announcement on the next date. However, next up is going to be the Miami Marketing Mastermind. I renamed Digital Marketing Jumpstart. This was a small group that I've been doing since the beginning of the year, but now I'm going to try to make it a little more public. And what I'll do is I'll probably make the first event for this one free so you guys can see the value that is being had as we get together and actually look at our online businesses and do group coaching and see where we are, what our obstacles are, because I know there's a lot of them on the internet. And what it takes for you to take the next step. Okay, whatever it takes, whether it's technology, whether it's psychology, whether it's something that you think is an obstacle that's really not. That's the reason why we do this presentation. So make sure you join us and stay tuned. So one of the things I like to talk about is the top 10 things every website needs in order to be successful on the internet. And of course, there's more than 10, but these are 10 that just came to my mind to show you the kind of coaching that you'll see when it comes to starting your online business. So when it comes to a website, you need a good URL because that way people can remember the URL a lot better. Something memorable or something that has a little bit of a wordplay in it. Or maybe it's something that just has your name if it's easy to spell. If it's difficult to spell, maybe initials. Something that when you put in a card or a flyer or a brochure, people look at it and they see that there's authority in the URL itself, and that gives you a little more help in getting the word out there, because your website is easy to remember. Sometimes I've seen business cards where the website is just a bunch of words together and it says construction at the end of it, and I don't remember the first half. I just know it's a construction company. So always try to look for a really good, memorable URL. Particularly, I always like going for definitions or terms that people know well. For example, one of my new projects is called Network Learner. Okay, so Network Learner, there's some R's going on there. Something like that, something that just makes it a lot more memorable than just random words coming together. Next most important thing is make sure your website is very mobile friendly. I've seen many websites that, in the desktop, it looks great, but when it goes to the mobile phone, the formatting is a bit off. The paragraph is off to the side. The images don't load well, because if you have 5G and you have high res images, it gets pixelated, or it takes an extra, few seconds to download. And I think, designing your website for your phone is more important than designing your website for the desktop or your laptop. And the reason why I say that is because this is how your website is going to be way more accessible to people. And it's also got to be in a way that allows people to be very, I'd say, pleased by the design of how it looks like on their mobile phones. That way they can stick around, because if it's clunky or it doesn't really work well or loads well, people aren't going to stick around on your website. So make sure that it's mobile friendly. Also have a great headline. I've seen a lot of businesses that do websites, and what they do is they don't have their headline. Immediately they start talking about themselves, or they start talking about the service. But put a headline, put something that when you read it, you know exactly what the website is for. And do it in a way that's beneficial to somebody rather than beneficial for yourself. Voted #1 best attorney in Miami. Well, I mean, if you're #1, maybe that's pretty good headline. But anyways, I digress. You want to do something like, are you looking to get your taxes handled on time? That's something I was looking for recently. Do you want a quick filing of your taxes? If you want your numbers accurate, here's a great bookkeeping service. Or if you want your numbers accurate in your books, scroll down below, something like that. So the more defined, yet you want to do this thing called word economy, where it's not too long, but it's just the right amount of words, and it conveys the concept of what the website is about, so that it's a lot more easier to kind of guide the person that's scrolling on your website. Okay, so if you think of a newspaper, newspapers have to put a really good headline in order for you to be enticed to continue reading the article. Think of it the same way for your website. Next up is a color scheme. You gotta give it a nice vibe, pleasant to the eyes, consistent. I think consistency in color schemes is important. You don't want it to be too busy. You don't want to go through a website and it kind of gives you a headache of you trying to figure out, what button is which and why this button is darker than the other. And you want to make sure that the functions of the design match. Okay. It kind of provides, like a comforting feeling when you see a brand using colors in a way that is also guiding you for the function of the website or the app itself. I mean, if you look look at Apple. Apple has a great website that is very concise and focused on how clean it looks, the spacing on the paragraphs, the buttons it uses, the call to action, so on and so forth. So a good color scheme is great for design purposes. You also want it to have good content. So a lot of business owners that I've seen have treated a website like a brochure or a flyer. It's like they have this idea that if you build it, they will come. And it takes a lot of time in order for your website to get some authority in its niche. And the way to do that is you've got to build really quality content that makes your website feel dynamic. Okay, that it's not just set it and forget it, but rather it's a way to continue communicating. And the reason why I think a website with content is more important than putting content on social media is because on social media, people are always scrolling. And because of that, if they keep scrolling, they're just going to come across a lot of other distractions from other people's channels. And sometimes people don't even read the entire content because they're busy consuming all the other content that's available on the newsfeed. So having a website as a home for your content allows people to focus more on your message. Okay. So make sure that your website also has great content. And have one call to action on your website. Don't have too many buttons on there, too many things, too many prompts, right? Too many pop-ups, too many do this, do that, look at this, look at that. You want to have it one call to action. And for those that aren't savvy with the term, a call to action is an action that you want your potential customers to take on your website, whether it's signing up for your newsletter, getting to know your prices, speaking to a sales representative, whatever it may be. One well-defined call to action will allow your website to be a lot more convenient for the person scrolling through it. And I don't think this one's spoken enough. I think you need an about me page. People want to know who's the face behind the website. There's a couple of websites I've seen from high end. I mean, if you're a big corporation, you probably don't want to put all 100 people on an about me page. But if you're like a blogger, or if you're, a solopreneur, or maybe if you have a small team, let's get to know them. Put them on the website and, link their social media accounts and let them see that you have a human quality to your website. It's not just about business. It's also about the people trying to serve you with the products or services that they are offering in the business. And when you put a face along with the service that you offer, it makes it a lot more relatable. If you speak to somebody on the phone and you could see their face on the internet, it just feels a lot more welcoming. Okay. You don't want to be you don't want to be sold by a website on its own, especially when you're just starting off. If you're branded, maybe. I don't got to see Jeff Bezos' face to buy something on Amazon, but if you go to, a smaller, lower branded website, your face is a great way to brand it. Connected to social media. So what I mean by this is make sure that, there's share buttons on your blog posts or your video posts and prompt people to share it. You want to, as Mark Schaefer says in his book, Content Code, you want to ignite your content. And by doing so is by telling people, hey, if you really enjoyed this article, go ahead and share it with people that would enjoy it as well. Comment. You can also just have it auto-published to all the channels that you have. It's very convenient to do that. So if you plug your website to Twitter, Facebook, your personal, so on and so forth, as soon as you click publish, it goes out to all those channels. Now you got a couple of extra traffic and maybe they'll share it. And hopefully you'll get this chain reaction of people sharing your content. And flow is the UX, as they would say, the design. If there's a function, right? If there's some sort of domino effect, right, going on in your website, make sure that it's an easy to transition website. So if you go from signing up to a newsletter to reading a blog, going to an event, getting coaching, following up with an e-course, just step by step, easy to comprehend, knowing where they are in the customer journey, giving them the opportunity to click on a button one day, but not the next, and then following up the next day. You want it to have some sort of, people would say like automation, a nice flow from beginning all the way to the front page, all the way to the invoice, to the phone call, to the Zoom call, whatever the functions are of your website. Make sure it's an ongoing flow. And finally, you want your website to be alive. This should be green instead of, okay. You want your website to be an extension of you. Okay. The way that people allow their websites to become an extension of them is you use your voice, you add some personality to it. You use words that allows you to convey the message, but with your voice, right? Like if they're reading it, they can hear you reading it. And making your website come alive, it's no longer just a website. I think it becomes more of a tool to connect you and your potential customers, or maybe a friend that's looking for advice in your expertise or anything like that. The more alive your website becomes, the more better it will be for people using it. So it kind of like see it as the gap between human to human. Right? You want your website to have that human feel to it to bring that gap closer together between you and your potential customers. All right, everybody. So that is it for Mornings with Manny today. I do online business coaching. I do marketing services, and I also have an exclusive membership at Miami Networking. A big thank you to all the members that have joined recently. I think it's awesome that we are able to have these kinds of conversations in Miami. I think it's really needed, where discussions, more critical thinking discussions are being had, because it allows us to come closer together. So a big thanks to those that are coming out to our events, our brand new members. And of course, if you need any coaching for your online business, I run a whole bunch of them. I can build a website in a very small amount of time and bring it up to a certain standard within a week or so, depending on what your idea is. So whether it's e-commerce, whether it's a blog, or whether you're trying to get to the next step, you're stuck with technology, whatever the case may be, I'm here to help. Just send me an email, manny@miaminetworking.com. Have a great week, everybody. I'll see you next Monday, 10:30 a.m. Bye.